Hi guys, welcome to week 7 of our wonderful Acting in America theater class. This week we studied Beck's writing of The Paradox of the Method Actor. Beck in this writing starts immediately out of the gate with a question that I actually, myself and others, had asked earlier on in the series of what were the socio-political influences on the Stanislavski system. Especially since, he's from Russia and right at the crux of the Russian Revolution and then the upcoming growth of Stalin and all of that going on. So Beck says that there are actually 3 different ways in which Stanislavski has been interpreted, and that this has become the legacy worldwide because starting with the social-political influences of the Iron Curtain and the Cold War. So first you have the first method, which the East side, which they say basically this is it's very Soviet in that respect of, since realism was most respected, it is the only acceptable way. It is only married to realism. There is a right and a wrong way to do it, and this is the government approved way. Method 2 was, which we find more in the West, of that there are options to do, but people more often sided with Stanislavski being the superior method because of its emphasis on realism. So in other words, they kind of looked down on Brechtian because it still kind of looked semi like the vaudeville, but it was there to make a point. But people didn't necessarily entwine the two at all. It was considered the antithesis of all things Brecht. Method 3 utilized a different type of idea that kind of grew into the method. It's the idea of beginning with yourself and concentrating on this paradox between the actor and their self. However, as we see with the method and with these other 2 interpretations, they're mostly used for realistic acting. They don't really translate into other ways, or rather they haven't traditionally. But Beck argues that this is a short-sighted effort on a lot of actors and directors of today's age, saying by trying to pigeonhole Stanislavski into this, it only has to be realism, is not exactly what he was trying to achieve. He was trying to achieve truth in imaginary circumstances. So in this, we see a lot of this whole new world of opportunity opening up using the Stanislavski system in both realistic and non-realistic acting styles. And in this way, much like with the method, we begin first with the paradox of that you are the actor on the stage and simultaneously you are the character on the stage, both being present in this performance on the stage. Stanislavski's idea was that the actor should not just be a puppet or a mouthpiece of the author, even though what we are there to transmit their ideas, absolutely. But he goes a step further and says that in order to get a genuine response, the actor has to be much more than that. They can't just be going rote through their rehearsal space. They have to be actively engaged in the moment, because it's more about finding that truth in the imaginary circumstances, and that means actively participating in the dialogue of what is happening. If an actor is engaged and is making choices in which there is a very distinct point of view, not just of the character, but of themselves and what they are trying to say, they become co-authors and co-creators, being organically in the moment rather than having a presentational style of, I'm going to do this because it's big and it looks good. In this way, Stanislavski is amazingly like the method. That is where Lee Strasberg started, was this idea of this paradox between the 2 that Stanislavski had discussed. That this is where this co-creation is much more alike than critics would ever imagine. And in this way, the actors can create truth in themselves and in the life of the play, therefore finding the truth in imaginary circumstances.